Welcome in. Welcome in. Should have the music going as well as always as we start things off here. Those who are already here, let me know in the comments. Is the music volume at a good spot? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Let me know. Keep me updated as we roll on here today. But speaking of rolling on here today, Kent State 2029 national champions. And it's a good thing we won, because honestly, I'm worried this was the end of our winning window. You got KV, how you doing today? Volume is perfect. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Kind of just going based off of how I do the editing, the volumes I have those. So sometimes it's different with streams. Glad to hear volume is looking good. But we've got a lot happening today, and we're going to try to get it done in a timely manner. KV, I'm doing good today. Excited for what's ahead of us, and excited for what's happening tonight. Actual national championship game, if I'm not mistaken, goes live at 4:30 Pacific time. For those spread across the US, obviously would be a little bit later. That's why I wanted to have this stream start at 3, so it would be at a overall, I think, better time for everyone, no matter where we're at. But we've got a lot to get done. Probably won't get through all of it by the time the Natty kicks off here today. We'll try to get through most of it. And of course, we're going to cap off everything that we did today in the episode coming on Wednesday. We are changing things up this week. We have the Super Bowl with the Giants tomorrow, those who've been watching that series. And that series, as we've now known it up to this point, does end with tomorrow's episode. It will be back at a later point, but all of that information will be in tomorrow's episode, so make sure you're ready for that. But as we've kind of stalled here for a couple minutes to let people join in, let's get started with Kent State's off season. 2029 national champions, as I said, so a great time for it to happen, because I don't expect the window to be that large, and in fact, it might be even a little bit narrower this next season, because news has broken. Those who were getting the notifications on the channel and voted on the poll, I appreciate it, because your votes are coming into action as the Golden Tribune breaks it today. The Big 12 has expelled our Kent State Golden Flashes from the conference. Feel free, you could pause, you could read it all, but I'm going to sum it up for you. The Big 12 board members are upset that Kent State has come in here. We lost just one Big 12 game in 2 years. We've taken the spotlight away from the longtime teams there, and frankly, they're upset about it. Those other teams have lost out on money, and that's what college football is all about now, right? Is the money. So we have been expelled from the Big 12 after just 2 years. We will be on the move yet again, and based off of everyone's votes by a large margin, we are headed to the Big 10. So Ohio State rivalry is now under full swing. I'm here for it. It'll be exciting. I'm sure the recruits are going to enjoy it as well. It now means we very much need to make sure our defense stays up to the level, if not improves, what we had this year. So with that said, I think it's time to move on. Big news is broken. We are leaving the Big 12. Kent State, we obviously have played Ohio State a number of times, the last 2 times beating them, including in the playoffs this year. So big games will be coming. I'm considering making that a protected rivalry. Let me know your thoughts on that. Obviously, I know real life Kent State, Ohio State, they're nowhere close to the same margin, but we are in the same state. So in this series, they have kind of become a rival for us, and I think I'm going to make that protected, or if not, maybe we just put that game in anyway. I'm toying with some things here. Maybe in the second year, it does become protected. But it's time to move on here. Not much for us to do. In the national championship week, obviously, we won it. So let's move on and get things really going. There is a lot for us to do. And I think the biggest question on roster right now is, what do we do at the quarterback spot? Obviously, here we see one of our quarterbacks looking to transfer, Bernie Boger. He's one I do hope does transfer, and that might just be the first thing that we roll into. But player of the week for Big 12, there was just us, so that seems like an easy win. Derek Jackson, another interception. He takes the defensive player of the week as well. He came a long way this season. Talked about it a couple episodes ago. Everyone hated him. I hated him, but he just played extremely well. Cheeseman, he ends up taking the offensive side. I don't know if I feel like he really was the player of the game, though. He still played a good game, and we do unlock strategist as well for Coach Ty. We do need to check in on that because we do need a lot more transfers, I feel like, this year. So upgrading Coach before we get to that point is going to be really big for us. But college football history update for the first time ever. Kent State is at the top. Very interested to see where they rank us as we go into the next season, but that is well down the lines. We'll see when we get to that point. Gonna talk about wanting to move a little bit faster today than the last off season. I want to say we spent 2 to 3 hours here. So let's just talk quickly about where the roster is at, what I expect to happen, and what we need to get done. Mason Kelsey, for the first time, will not be our starting quarterback heading into the next year. 4-year starter. Bernie Boger most likely is on his way out. Playing time for him is his deal breaker. It's at an F. He just requires a C+, so I do really hope he does transfer. Miles Cheeseman came in as the starter for the playoffs, taking over for Kevon Fair after Fair took over for Kelsey when he got banged up. Fair, at times, has shown really good promise. There is some decent ratings there. It's just not all there. Miles Cheeseman came in the playoffs and really took off. The offense was able to operate, which you got to have in the playoffs. However, he does not have any abilities, whether physical or mental, but he is an impact dev. I know my face is blocking it. Just trust, impact dev. He is uncapped in terms of his accuracy, his power, his elusiveness, and his health. So he could be potentially the quarterback of our future. I'm hoping that today we're going to see a good jump for him because of how well he played in the playoffs. But the speed is capped. It is manageable. But at 83 speed, 88 acceleration, I feel like a big thing for us this year, if we do stick with perhaps Cheeseman as our starter heading into the next year, is I still want a second quarterback to help out with these injuries. In fact, this time I will take off my face. We all know the story with Mason Kelsey. The career health became a massive problem, and he could not finish either of the last 2 seasons. I want another quarterback that could potentially come in and give him a little bit of a breather. And considering Cheeseman, as we saw, doesn't have the best of speed and will not get better, perhaps bringing in a faster quarterback inside the red zone could just take a little bit of the hits off of our starting quarterback. That's something we're going to look at today. If I can find a great value Cam Newton who can't throw but can just run and has that size, that would be magnificent. We're going to find out if that's the case. I think Kevon Fair will be our backup heading into the next year because, again, he's not going to grow much at all. His caps are not that good. His arm is capped. His quickness is capped. And everything does have a cap while he can still grow. I don't think he'll grow to the same height as Cheeseman. Plus, we are bringing in a 4-star quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, in the recruiting, the high school recruiting. So expect he might have some say in what we do as well, depending also on transfer. Jimmy Yazzie, he's a junior, true junior. Again, reminder for house rules here. If a player commits to the draft, we are not convincing them to come back. They are gone. They're off limits. I expect Jimmy Yazzie as a 95 overall running back to go to the draft. I'm hoping for anywhere from 2nd to 3rd round. I feel like that would be really good for us. Cleveland is graduating. Martin is graduating. Mayo is an interesting player. He's gotten better. We've played with him very limitedly. Couple snaps here and there. He does have impact dev, but no abilities. His caps aren't bad. He can get a little bit better here for his senior campaign. So I don't want to say we have to go find a new running back, but I think we might have to go find a new running back. We've seen a little bit of Scales as a return man. Did have a return touchdown this year, I'm pretty sure. A big one, at least a good return, setting us up at a good spot. So there might be a decent rotation there, but I want to focus, just like we did last year in the offseason, on rebuilding the defense to match schemes. We need to do that for the offense as well. Mayo fits the scheme for the actual running back. For the flashback role, we do have Morgan Harbor. We've seen him a little bit. I'm not overly impressed. I might see what else is out there. Scales' backfield threat doesn't necessarily match anything, but we're moving into this offseason most likely only carrying 3 backs, so we're not going to force anyone out. We don't really use a true fullback. Harry Hassman and Kantula are graduating. Our receiving room is very, very small. And on top of that, despite the big plays we've occasionally gotten from Armin Hay, and despite, again, the fact he is a impact dev, he's capped out. So he's not going to be getting any better outside of maybe some IQ. He might go up an overall point, maybe 2, depending on how big of the IQ boost he does get. Now, he does have Golden Cutter, which is great, but he's not going to be high level for us. I'm imagining more like a Kantula, not from this year, but from last year. And Kantula had a fantastic senior campaign. We did see a good bit of DeAndre Lake, especially after Cheeseman came in at quarterback. And that was a good storyline because Lake would have been his practice squad receiver. True freshman, he played like a true freshman, but he also has Gold Press Pro. So getting him on the outside next year could be big. We need to see whatever improvement we can with the speed. He only has one ability that he can go up there. But the hands can get better, the route running can get better, everything can get better. We don't pass as often, and we are probably going to change up our passing offense this year. But Lake, as it stands, will probably be one of the starters. George Theory, I don't expect to see much of a jump. He hasn't played much. Normal dev for him. Does have the platinum recoup. Can improve outside of the quickness, which isn't great. But we have some high school recruits that are coming in. We're going to need them to really hit, or we're also going to have to check the portal for receiver. Tight end, Kamari Smith, graduating. Lupke has not taken the steps forward, and I'm not sure he's ever going to be that number 1 tight end. Number 2, I think, is where he fits. Ezekiel Shelley, another true freshman that played this year. The reason he wasn't the number 2 is because he's rather slow. And I'm hoping the speed does see a good boost because the quickness cap is just 1 from the top. So that can improve. Overall, I think he could be a solid guy. We may look at tight end if we have the extra time to spend. But we might just be rocking with these 3. Offensive line is another group that's going to see a lot of overhaul. Jabron Baldwin graduating. We do have an agile guy waiting behind. Good overall to start, should be getting better. Redshirted this year. And he does match the style we're going with the offense in the future with the agile, well-rounded front. So that's a good start there. Vi Salavea is going to be an interesting player to keep an eye on because he got injured this year. He was one of our best offensive linemen. He's a 92 overall redshirt junior. We did end up putting him on IR this year, so I'm hoping he comes back as a redshirt junior. But he may also just go ahead and commit to the NFL. And again, if he commits to the draft, we do not negotiate for them to come back. Kent State needs as much as we can get with the pro potential, so we're sending these guys out as quickly as we can. Expectations are for him to be leaving. Again, behind, we have a well-rounded redshirt freshman, or just now redshirted, will be a redshirt freshman next year. So again, we should be looking good there. Do like the well-rounded. Tyler Stitzer did play a lot this year. He's the raw strength. That, I think, would be more of a fit for us at center, not guards who are pulling and needing to get out into space because the speed isn't great there. Center-wise, Jabari Okoye, I think, is another guy who could potentially go to the draft. If that happens, we're not going to negotiate. He will be going. Trent Norton Jr. will be graduating. Anthony Talib, again, should be an offensive lineman going to the NFL. We've seen a little bit of Spencer German. He's okay. Not a fantastic overall. Normal dev. does have pocket shield, so might be actually better at a tackle spot for us. The pass blocking isn't going to improve. Power's not going to improve. Limited improvement for the run blocking. He was a good backup this year and did have to play several games. So I think that's where I want him, is to be that backup. We do have another raw strength guy here in Gregory McLean. True freshman who was redshirted this year. And he's another candidate who could get moved to that center spot that most likely will be completely open. So we're going to have to move some guys around. The caps are pretty good here. My concern, our offense is very agile based, finesse based, if you will. And he's not a good finesse blocker. So if he plays center, he'll be good for the double teams, not much for getting out into space. But every now and then you do need that big block, especially if we do get that flashback going a little bit more. Could basically be a lead blocker for him. We have another younger pass protector in Dexter Wilkins, who probably needs to get moved to tackle. At right tackle, Godwin should return. I don't think at an 86 overall, he's a high enough overall to get drafted. Stray will be graduating, though I believe he also got injured this year. I'm not sure if he was one we put on IR or not. Unfortunately, with all those injuries, we did have to pull the red shirt for Stephen Jewell. So he will not be redshirted this year. If he's not in line to start, maybe we do redshirt him next season. But he does have gold quick drop. Normal dev for him, but he's the finesse guy. He's who we're looking for this offensive line, especially with that acceleration being 85. If that speed can go up a little bit, he'd be a great pulling guard, especially, again, on those option plays, getting to the outside, getting us into space, the screens as well. Offense should see a big overhaul. Defensive line-wise is going to see a massive overhaul. Theodore Blackwell graduating. And behind him, we really just have base package ends. So we need to find some more edge rushers, because 63 speed and 68 speed is not going to cut it for us anymore. Blackwell finally started to get back to the quarterback this year, and that was with 72 speed. So we definitely are looking for some upgrades. Opposite side, Marquise Shabera. I'm hoping he stays around again. He's at that 86 overall, could teeter, potentially being drafted as like a 7th rounder. He's played well for us. He has one of the better speeds of our current defensive line. We'll see if he comes back, but this group in general is all upperclassmen led. Senior and Gunter is graduating. Everyone else is a junior. We have some speed with Tyler Teague. If he comes back, he could be more of that pass rusher on the other side. We'll have to see how it all ends up panning out. We might have to rely a lot on true freshmen as our pass rushers, or see again what the portal has in mind. And let's talk a bit about Bobby Ellington. This was a man who kind of just fell to us, honestly. I think we recruited him as in the first season. He did not choose us. He actually went to Georgia Tech, then transferred to us. And the only way we got him, I think, is because we did recruit him initially. And what a season, what a career even he put together. His first year starting, 13 TFLs, 7.5 sacks. Followed it with 22 TFLs, 6.5 sacks, and a great year this year. I would say one of our more dominant interior defensive linemen this channel has seen. And if you go to the channel on YouTube, you check the banner, he has made it to the Big Bear B Hall of Fame. Bobby Ellington, our first player from Kent State. If there's a player that you've loved from this series and is not a real-life player, so like someone like Mason Kelsey, not eligible, he's an actual NIL guy, a auto-generated person from this series or any of my series, if you love them, let me know, and we might just add them to the Hall of Fame. But Bobby Ellington has made it there. He should get drafted based off of what he's done in this series. But again, at that 86, we're going to find out. Fingers crossed for him. Larry Long is graduating. Seth Nelson is graduating. And Darren Blanchowitz is also graduating. He never played for us. So we have 2 DTs that will be making it to next season. And honestly, it could potentially just be 1, depending on what we're able to bring in. James Tejeda, not looking good, not looking to transfer. But right now, Alan Hyman is hopefully going to be our next Bobby Ellington. He's a guy I've been excited for as a true nose tackle. He does have gold. Workhorse is a star dev. 329 should be getting bigger in the offseason, and he's a true power guy. Gonna come in 92 strength as it stands with the run stopping. He's not an interior pass rusher, so he's gonna be more of our base package, goal line, head up on the center, and hopefully start to stuff some of those quarterback sneaks that have just been killing everyone these Madden and college football cycle. But definitely DT is going to be a big focus for us in the transfer portal. We have some freshmen coming in, some high school recruits coming in, but we're going to need some extra help there. Potentially at linebacker too. Titus Weil is graduating. Pat Holliday is the only thumper we have right now on roster, so we might have to see some of the run stop packages next season. Hopefully, again, he sees a little bit of some boost. He does not have a great dev trait. Normal, no attributes or abilities. Can get a little bit better. We might just have to have it. Fill in that Titus Weil role. We should be getting Tim Snead back. He's performed well enough in the past to be drafted as a junior, but he's only an 82 overall, so I expect Snead to come back. And Anthony Butts, I think, is going to be the next primetime linebacker for us. Coach Tyrone Rozeboom, a former linebacker of his own, has developed some really good linebackers. Butts, with impact dev, does not have an ability yet. I'm hoping gets one in the offseason. Just played a redshirt freshman campaign. Uncapped for quickness. Pretty good cap here for pass coverage. Awful cap for run stopping. He's going to be your nickel linebacker. He can tackle, just the block shed is a concern, so we'll see what we decide to do in the base package. But I think he's a guy that needs to be on the field, especially with the speed he's going to develop. And then after him, I feel like the third option for us is Terrence Yeboah. Similar to Butts, just I think a half step behind. He's a normal dev, but he does have the gold bouncer. Again, he's also that lurker. Uncapped for his IQ, uncapped for the pass coverage, slightly better cap for the run stopping. Overall, the rest of the caps aren't too bad. So I think we have a good trio for at least this next season, but we still might need to look for maybe a better run stopper linebacker. I don't remember the high school guys who we've gotten so far. I feel like a lot of them are lurkers or signal callers, so we'll have to check in on that. DB group should also see a big change. Shamari Earls comes in, does a fantastic job down the stretch, really locked things down for us. But Terrell Christick is that guy, unfortunately, with Christick. I feel a little bit bad for him. He came in with 4 interceptions from his previous school in Louisiana, and they only counted 4 interceptions for him this year. And I strictly remember there being a game down this stretch. The last one they recorded was against Arizona State. One of these games, I know he had 2 interceptions. So they are missing some of his stats, but even then, he still led us in interceptions this year. Locked down the left side of the field most games. Robert Jones filled in well for us this year. Will be graduating. The guy to look for in the slot moving forward, I think, is going to be the redshirt freshman, will be sophomore, Jamison Brents. Really one of the only guys that we recruited beforehand who I think actually fits. He's got good mentals. We're hoping he gets some physicals as well. With impact dev, good size, 6 foot, 194. Hopefully we'll get closer to 200 come the start of the season. Uncapped for man and zone coverage. I just need him to get a little bit faster. He gets a little bit faster. He might be able to pick off some passes in that slot with 73 catching. And the run stopping is actually pretty good with 70 tackle for a corner. I think he will be our slot corner of the future because he does not have that press ability down at 66. He's never going to play on the outside. Unfortunately for him, but just what it is. Well, even worse, Duggar and Stephon Lavore, I think we're cutting them. We have a really good group of red-shirted freshmen, and I say that more so because of their dev traits. Keep an eye on the bottom right corner. Weathersby, star, dog, impact, Neighbors, impact, star for Yearby, impact for Canaday, and impact for Ogba. We've got a lot of good young guys. I'm hoping one of them pops off. I still think we have to bring in an established outside corner for this year. Moving into the Big Ten, we can't afford a step back here on defense. That is the same for the safeties. Derek Zyman, I'm really hoping finally takes that big step. He played really well again down the stretch, a couple interceptions down the line, but he only has normal dev. I'm hoping he gets one of the dev boosts this year, because the overall caps aren't too bad. Coverage can still get a lot better with zone, uncapped for man. His quickness is capped. I think 88 speed is fine for a safety. 86 excel, I wish would be a little bit better. But he was jumping in front of passes there down the stretch in the playoffs, so I'm hoping, again, he's going to take that next step. Run support is solid enough for a coverage safety. We know he can pick off a ball. So Zyman should be the starter moving into next year. We're hoping. But as for the other side, all of these other safeties are very much lacking speed. And that's unfortunate because Linval Iverson, way too fast there, has really good coverage. In fact, is the best coverage safety we have with the 80 and the 80. But he's slow and he doesn't have good acceleration, so he hasn't seen the field much. If he can get a little bit faster, that could really go a long way for us. Would be a junior. He is capped there. So we're going to see what the market has for us for sure, because the strong safeties aren't looking good. Jackson's going to graduate. Natson, 82 speed. We do have 86 with Robinson, but he's graduating. 84 with Cheeks and 84 with Abrams. So we've got some work to do. And perhaps similar to the tight ends, if we have the extra time, David Uwezuoke, his job is not secure. After putting together a season like he had, albeit a true freshman, he only hit 66% of his field goals. Not all of them were on me. Some of them were purely on him. 97% on his extra points. He did miss one. So if there's a transfer kicker and we have the extra time for it, we may look into bringing in another kicker. But that's basically everything we have set up now for the off-season. So let's set up Coach Ty for the off-season. And while we did unlock some things, I'm going to jump over here to the recruiter first. We've got some points we can spend. And we're going to initially unlock here the Portal King for quarterback, because we are going to look at the quarterback options. I don't really sway, so I really don't care about that. We're going to look to double upgrade here on the running back, because again, we are going to be looking for some running backs. We might even be looking at the receiver and tight end. So we now have every position outside of kickers and punters upgraded so that we have higher interest initially for the transfer portal, which is, I think, really going to help us out moving to the Big Ten. That was a lot of talking in a row. Take a moment here. How are we doing? Everyone enjoying and getting ready for the college football playoff? Let me know in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the Natty as we sim on over to the next week? And a season recap. We are good to move on as we played all the way through for the first time here under Coach Ty. Now Davis is potentially transferring. I'd be up for that too. Both Boger and Davis are slower quarterbacks out of scheme as well for us. But here we go. Big first part of the offseason. Players leaving. I expect to see some juniors. I expect it this year, and I expect us to have anywhere from 3 to 5 players going to the draft. Let's see if I'm right. Players leaving, only 2 projected to go. I hope that more end up asking or end up being drafted. But Jimmy Yazzie, a round 1. And Vi Salavea, so both of them are gone. We have 10 persuasion chances here, but only 2 other people are looking to leave. And I am more than happy for both of them to look to leave. So there is no persuasion being done here. Mason Kelsey graduating, getting 82 overall. He played really well. Andrew, you got Indy winning it all. I hope for it. Honestly, I would love to see a storyline. Side note here from what we're doing. I would love to see a story break after of someone who lost their fantasy last year and as their punishment had to put down like $100 bet for Indiana to win the college football national championship before the season. because I don't think anyone expected them to get this far. They've done better the last couple years, but they've never been really in that discussion. So I would love for that story to break. Running back wise, didn't expect either of them to be drafted. Harry Hassman, I would love for him to sneak in as a 7th round guy. You can't tell me that the Patriots wouldn't be interested in Harry Hassman. Robert Catula maybe could also sneak in as a UDFA, maybe even return man, I would say. Didn't expect anything here so far. Vi Salavea, around 3, honestly, after blowing out your knee, great selection for him as a junior as well. Now, Jabari Okoye not listed, so we will still have our starting center moving into next year, which is a big upgrade for us from what we had expected. Anthony Talib, projected 4th round. Why did that not show up earlier? Let me go back to the top here. Come on, give me all of the projected. Okay, so it was just Anthony Talib. So you're telling me big ol' Bobby Ellington is not projected? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how many people would feel about that. Stray is graduating, so he is not coming back. So either it didn't work putting him on IR, or we didn't put him on IR. I honestly don't remember. Theodore Blackwell not making it does not surprise me. And we already saw those guys. Shabera is not going. That's good note for us. We return at least one of our starters on the defensive line. While, again, I could see him sneaking in almost like a Ivan Pace Jr., hopefully just with a longer lasting stretch. Just checking in on this channel. Make sure we're all looking good here. Looking good. All right. Mike linebacker. Tim Snead does not go. Expected Donald would be leaving as the senior. Earls graduates. So does Jones. And Jackson and Robinson are gone. So nothing honestly surprising. I expected a little bit more. Now, we still might have more players drafted late. Again, in that 6th, 7th round, maybe even up to 5. But we have a 1, a 3, and a 4. We're going to see if they end up going any earlier. Obviously, Yazzie not going any earlier than round 1. And we're not going to upgrade the coach now because it doesn't matter for the offseason. We'll save that for the regular season for if we have to get any boosts to certain positions that we weren't able to fill out. So on to the next week. Nothing crazy. Everything there kind of expected outside of a couple more players I expected to leave. I do expect to hear some outrage, though, over some guys not getting drafted or expected. We do land a running back, though, in Marcus Allen. So the weak group for us, so that is great news. Already landing recruits. He's a north-south blocker, so he's going to be in line potentially to be another one of our flashbacks. And nothing else rolling in here for us. Now it's time to find out, though. Draft results. 3 projected. Does anyone else go? Give me Bobby Ellington. We do get more to go, and Bobby Ellington goes as a round 7. Someone got a steal. Harry Hassman goes into 7th. I'm putting this down now. When we come back with a Giant series, if the Patriots drafted a 7th round receiver, I am making him Harry Hassman. I think he's a real person, unfortunately, so it doesn't quite fit the narrative that we've been doing with that, but he's making it, and Bobby Ellington is making it into that series, for sure. Bobby Ellington, also I've seen requests to be a future coach on this channel. Big ol' coach, if you will. Might just be what happens. There's a couple guys on the defensive side who are eligible, I would say, for a coaching series. But Bobby Ellington makes it. Harry Hassman, Anthony Talib does go around earlier. Vi Salavea and him both go in the same round. And Jimmy Yazzie goes round 1. We might also just add Jimmy Yazzie to that Giants franchise. Or we might say, well, I still don't know what I'm doing with Madden post-Giants series. So we may hold up on adding those guys just in case we do a longer form series and they can be part of the first draft class. I think that might be a better shot. Again, let me know in the comments below what you would like to see with Jimmy Yazzie, Bobby Ellington, obviously Ellington making it to the Big Bear B Hall of Fame. But now it's time to head in to the portal and check in on how we are looking. Did mention we had a quarterback that we are bringing in Del Griffin, a dual threat, does match what we're looking for. He has elite development, but does not have any abilities. As of right now, throw power is at 90, and his accuracies are honestly what we had with Mason Kelsey. The speed is going to be a little bit slower, but I think he is right there in line depending on progression with Cheeseman on seeing some snaps. Now, Griffin is 6'4", 190, not exactly the size of Cam Newton, but could be someone, as a true freshman, that does get some snaps to take away some of those hits from the starting quarterback, whoever that does end up being. Looks like we ended up pulling off of Bartow here. So let's just check everyone, all of the young guys. How are we looking here? Because we do still want to bring in these young guys, and people have not pulled off of all of them. In fact, it looks like most of these guys do still have offers on the table. So it looks like we are still going to have to put in some time here to these high school recruits. So let's at least go around and tack on 10, I would say, to these high school guys. Just again, because other teams are still going after them. Sometimes they drop off if they are those lower stars. Sometimes not. So that is going to eat into some of our hours, but we are over 1,000 hours. So I think we actually went up in prestige. Let's check on that real quick. We should have after winning the Natty. We are now a 3.5-star program, originally starting with 0 stars. And how is our pro potential looking here? Doesn't give us the exact information, even if you scroll through. That is a little bit annoying, or it checks on the side, actually. So for quarterbacks, D-. Running backs, though, A-. B- for receivers. We have sent a couple. What was that? O-line. Doing pretty good with O-line. Just sent 2. D-line's at a B. Linebackers at a B. DB, C+. And then kicker, D-. So we might struggle to bring in a transfer kicker. But we've really have come a long way here. Just finish adding on these 10, and then we'll go check out the transfer portal and see who's interested, because we do have a couple key spots to fill. Also check on just how many guys at each position we've also brought in. Okay, so that's everyone we've already had. Now it is time to take the guys off the board that have committed elsewhere. So we do that as well, just because I like to see a gauge of how many we've won versus how many we lost. I think we already decided Bartow was out, so I will remove him as well. And at this point, I don't think we're going to really check on some of these young guys unless we have the points there at the end. Anu Shabera? A lot unknown there. We're not going to spend any of the points on that. But just position by position, we already got one quarterback. We have one running back committed who's a flashback. So hopefully, well, contact seeker, that's another flashback. So we're going to look in the portal for a actual running back for us. We signed 2 receivers already, contested specialist and a gadget. If I'm not mistaken, this is the man. Yeah, he also has some throwing ability. So we used that Wildcat package with Catula to throw the ball a little bit in the playoffs. We had 3 touchdowns with it. Willingham is a guy who could fill in that spot. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Again, we might actually play some freshmen this year. Tight end-wise, we haven't brought in a single tight end. We brought in 1 lineman, looking to bring in 2. Maybe Dorsey, we'll have to check in later. Hoping to land a couple more. So far, we've only brought in 1 offensive lineman, hoping to land in total 4 high school guys. We did sign 1 edge rusher, who's an edge setter, so that is more of a base package guy, not a pass rusher. And it's not necessarily looking great for one of these guys who is a power rusher, but the speed and pure power, there's some good things there. 2 defensive linemen have signed. One again, including a nose tackle, Evan Riggins, pass rusher, and Darrell Morris. Looking to bring in another pure power guy, another nose tackle. So we need to find some pass rush DTs. Signal caller in Riggins. Another signal caller in Chubb, with hopefully another signal caller in Lane. You can tell the theme here. Corner, we haven't brought in a single corner. Hopefully we'll bring in a couple of freshmen, high school freshmen, that is, no safeties. So we definitely have some work to do for sure. And we got about 940 points to spend. Round 1 of the transfer portal. So starting at the top. Don't show me the recommended. Show me all. There is one 5-star quarterback transfer sophomore pocket passer. We're not interested in pocket passers. But in all quarterbacks here, top option, James Kegler, dual threat. We played against him. And there were 2 guys I was keeping an eye on to see if they hit the portal. Doesn't look like they did. So James Kegler. If we want to bring in a transfer quarterback, someone with a little bit more experience. Did not run the ball much, though, as a dual threat. Passing wasn't bad. 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Probably one of those at least against us. Does have interest. Another dual threat in Case Vaharn? I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Anyone with that name? Apologies. Sydney is an option. Not looking at backfield creators. So we do want dual threat. So there's at least 2 options at the quarterback spot. Running back spot. Number 1 guy's a contact seeker. We're looking more for an east-west playmaker. Yards per carry only 4. Elusive bruiser. East-west playmaker here out of Alabama. 2 of their guys are looking to move. Okay. Anyone just go off, maybe from a smaller school like Coastal Carolina? Contact seeker, though. Not a whole lot of east-west playmakers. Could look to steal a guy from Ohio State. He's looking for some revenge. A transfer sophomore. Interested in that. And then the only other option towards the top here is Dwayne Busby. So we'll take a look at both of those guys, because we do need a running back. Do need some receiver help as well. Not as interested in certain archetypes here. Gritty possession, though, might be a little slow for us as we look to stretch the field more here. Contested specialist. Again, going to be a little bit more of that big body guy that doesn't necessarily fit, though I would still love to take players away from Ohio State. Another contested specialist. I know our receivers don't typically go off. I think we might just have to check in on both of them, see if they have some speed. We'll tack on Rochelle as well. We're already at 30 targets, so we are running out of targets with some other positions of some more desperate need. So let's go to George Dingle. Not interested, but he is a speed rusher who recorded 10 sacks. We're going to add him to our board despite no interest. Highest level guy here is out of East Carolina. No sacks last year. Not that interested. Travis Hunter, 6 sacks. Wait. Travis Hunter is now a big guy. I wonder if he plays offensive line too. Power rusher. I need someone with some sacks here. Not a whole lot. Guy that was interested did have 0. I would even look at these 3-stars, see if they had some sacks last year. Production does matter. There's not a whole lot there, so we might just have to gamble then on someone who didn't get that many sacks, maybe didn't play as much. There's a lot of pure power guys. Gap specialist isn't what we're looking for. So either Jaden Blunt, who didn't play but would be a potential freshman if he was redshirted. We'll add him to the board. I know we need at least a corner and a safety, so I want to make sure we add them. Looking more for boundary or zone. There is two interested here, zone and zone. 4 interceptions for Spillman would be potentially a senior, or probably would be a senior. We'll add 2 for now. Check out the safeties. Looking for a zone archetype here. Not a whole lot of 4 stars. No, 1 4-star that was interested, or coverage specialist is what we're looking for with these safeties. Would love someone who's had some picks. That would be great. 1 for Bilbo. We got Bilbo Baggins out of Minnesota. Only 1 interception there. I don't care if they're listed free or strong. We can move them around because both are over-the-top safeties. Not a whole lot of picks coming at the free safety market here. 2 for Trent Kenoy. Hybrid archetype, though. Yeah, not a whole lot of picks. Of course, the other guy with 2 isn't interested. Okay, so we might just have to gamble on someone who does fit. Glenn Council would be a senior, 6 foot, about 200 pounds. Or Bilbo Baggins at 5'10", 200 pounds. Is a box specialist, though. So probably not very fast. We're going to go with Council here first. Doesn't mean that's who we're sticking with. We are going to scout some of these guys here. Especially since we now have a good amount of points. Let's start with the quarterbacks. We got a guy whose name I'm going to have to learn to pronounce if we get him, or Kegler. A guy who I know we played. Senior versus freshman. Start with a freshman. Does have golden dot already as a dual threat. Good deep accuracy. Strong arm. Gold mobile resistance and gold adrenaline. And has a lot of acceleration. Speed is not too shabby either. That could end up being a really good pick. Does have interest in coming here. I'm going to give a scholarship there. Might come back to Kegler at a later point if we don't end up getting something going a little bit better there. Now these 2 running backs, East-West playmakers. Maddox is the younger of the 2. Good speed there. We haven't had that kind of speed at running back. Has silver shifty. Acceleration 98. This is a speedster. And I don't feel like I really need to know the other information. Catching isn't fantastic. Ball carrier vision is good. Break tackle. Not necessarily looking for him to break tackles. Just skirt around them. Does have silver the natural and golden clear-headed. Offer a scholarship there. We haven't really used too many 2-backs, but we had the situation where Yazzie was getting a bit banged up, so it may not be a bad idea to have 2, but we do also have Mayo. And we got a lot of other positions to look at. So we're going to just scout the 2, or the 1 for the quarterback and the running back. Come back to that later. Might do a couple of these receivers, though. All of them would be seniors. Good short route running. Good deep. 86 speed, a little bit of a concern. Again, these guys, none of them quite match the archetype I was looking for, so speed is the concern here. 83 speed, that is awful. Rochelle, saving grace here with really good short route running. Good catching, platinum workhorse. 88 speed is good enough for me. I don't need to know the rest of the information. We'll save some points there. You are a receiver we are going after. These receivers are off our board. DTs, really need these guys to hit. Give me some good pass rush. We got a junior and a freshman. Hopefully it would turn into a senior and a freshman. Not much information there besides golden takedown and adrenaline. Good strength with 93 finesse moves. I don't care about the block shedding or the speed. You got a scholarship. We need some pass rush. We don't have any. What about the freshman? Power rusher from Tuscaloosa. Finesse at 73. Silver grip breaker with golden D-line rally. 90 strength. 73 speed, not bad. What's the power moves, though? Give me something in the 80s. That is good enough for me. We need the bodies up front. We still got plenty of points as well. Time, hours, whatever you prefer to call them. Spillman. Really used with these corners hitting big. 83 zone as a senior with golden winning time. Good balance, but lacks some press ability. Good speed, though. Could be a solid option. What about Young? I believe J is Y, right? Always correct mispronunciations in the comments. A little bit slow. Lacking man coverage. And we are very much more so, I would say, of that man style. So no need to correct pronunciation because they are out. So Spillman right now has the favor, just lacking some of that press. Need counsel to hit because there wasn't a whole lot of safety options. Good zone. Platinum robber with silver house call. Speed is on the high end, 91. I don't think I need to know anything else here. You're on the board and you're getting 50. That is for sure. Spillman, we didn't give you a scholarship, but I think we will. Would have liked a little bit more press, but we're going to go after at least one of these guys here. If we have more points later, we will go after more corners. Just because that's a group we very much struggled to recruit the first handful of seasons. And everyone that has a scholarship is going to get the 50 points. And we will have extra points to check out some of these other guys, maybe even bump some points for the high school kids, which we could set up for a visit week 1 as well. So keep that in mind. Kegler, take a look at you. Dual threat, speed 85, so he's faster. Golden extender and mobile resistance with good throw power. He's a really good quarterback. Would be a senior. So we could bring in both. Kegler starts for a year. Let some development happen. What is the deal breaker? Playing time is the deal breaker. If we put points here into Kegler, I want to see if that goes down. Still says A+. So we still might be able to bring in both of those guys. Might also need another running back. Is Busby the guy? Another East-West playmaker, this time out of Florida. 92 speed with golden sidestep. 92 change of direction. Good juke. Not much of a spin guy. And he also has gold shifty and recoup with team player, road dog, and clear-headed. Catching is really good. He'd be more of a screen type guy for us. I like it. So we're looking at the quarterbacks. We know we needed that. We got running backs. We only have one receiver. Might need to look more at receiver. It's not a big need for us with the style offense we run. Got a couple DTs on the board. Gonna look at some more corners. Corners for sure. I don't think we need offensive line. Tight end we should look at as well. So let's see. Any good tight ends on the market? Pure blocker, not what we're looking for here. Vertical threat needs someone that can block a little bit. So probably more of a, not pure possession, physical route runner, or just straight possession type. Not a lot of them. Got pure possession with Kyrie Arma. What did he do last year? Anything good? 14 catches, $144. A lot of vertical threats. Physical route runners here didn't do much, but they're underclassmen. But they're also 2 stars. I think we're going to hold up on the tight end. We might just rock only 3 this year. It's not a heavy use for us. Could check the high schoolers. And also try to maybe get some of them locked down on some longer-term deals as well. 3 interceptions for the Boundary Junior. Why did we not check this guy out? I don't remember. We're looking at zone and boundary. I guess we just looked at the guys that already had interest. We'll check the Virginia guy, West Virginia guy. And then we might use the rest of the points this week for high school recruits. 6 foot, 200 pounds. Pure archetype for me. 94 speed. This guy's got some press and some golden quick jump. Does lack man coverage, though. Boundaries are going to be a little bit more zone sometimes when they get to the higher part of their careers. Do have better man. This guy does not, and we run primarily man. So we're going to pull off on that. And with the 125, let's see if we can get some of these high school guys who are maybe on the fence, bring them in on a visit, get them locked down. We could, have 4 per week, I believe? Guys who maybe are in some close races. Boise State kind of close here for the corner. Ezekiel Wilkins. Pretty balanced there. Talked about, again, those boundary guys potentially having that man. He does. We might need it here for Nathan Turner. Let's look to get him on a visit week 1. Playing style is his top. We have A- there. That sounds good for me. And we do have an A+. So we're actually going to go with Coach Prestige there on that visit. Get him locked in. Hopefully get the commit over UW or even Louisville, honestly. And then we're looking good with looking for guys that we are in a close race. Rico Matlock, we are in a close race, but we're not inside the top 5 yet. In fact, these guys down the line, we kind of jumped in late. So to help us out then with Turner, we're actually going to turn in that 10 for a 50. Or actually, we have a good hard sell. Get back to the hard sell there. Almost got me this time. Last time, I believe I missed out on the opportunity of switching all these guys to their hard sells. And that was actually the transfer portal guys. We still had a great class. Could have been better. We're not going to make that same mistake this time. And then some other guys who are close. Looks like these top 2 options. So let's get them in. Coach Prestige is big there. Is a competitive visit, though. But I don't want to waste next week's recruit time or visit time for high schoolers. So we're going to take that negative hit there. Again, we will change as we have the points. Let's wait and get the visit scheduled with Wilkins first. Conference Prestige is there, but Championship Contender is better. And this one is 40 points, so it's a good thing we saved some of those points. Just save ourselves some time here. Go Championship Contender. And then we can also add on some points here. Add on the 5 there. Got 15 left. So then let's switch this one out since he has that negative in the visit to the 25. That is all of our points here for round 1. We still have to spend some money on some of these high school kids. We need a big recruiting class to fill in depth. And then hopefully we land a couple key starters. Right now we are the first to get on the board for a number of these guys. Some already had interest in us, some did not. I think that's good. Everyone else agree? Anyone think we need to move some points around? Always feel free. Jump in, chime in. If you see someone you think we should go after, let me know. If you think we should move some points around, let me know. This is what we're looking like here, round number 1. As I pause for a moment here to let everyone make their decisions, check in on where we're at. We are starting with the number 19 recruiting class. As we are technically still part of the Big 12, we don't have the top class there even. Arizona State, they brought in a lot of 3 stars. We focused on 4 stars. Only 1 5-star is going to the Big 12, and that's at West Virginia. All right, well, no one complaining about where we have given points, so let's go ahead and jump to the next week and see how we're looking with these guys. This is just the initial look. Some of these guys may not have any interest in us. Hopefully Bobby Ellington is trying to convince those DTs to come here. On Twitter, just tweeting away his highlights. All right, well, we've jumped into top spots for a number of these guys, but are still trailing for a couple of them. So we've got some work to do for sure here. See how bad the damage is. And we are in first place here for Manu. That's good. Still have other teams pursuing. And Pitt does have a recruiting visit this week. So just to try to help myself out a little bit more here, switch this up to a hard sell. Of course, I went to the wrong side. You can imagine how much I've played this game, I would know exactly what lineup is what, but not the case. In first and no one else pursuing for Ezekiel Wilkins. That is great news. We're going to pull 10 of those points. Hurley, no one's going after there either. So again, we're going to pull 10, leaving 5 for these guys, just in case someone does end up jumping in. We jump to first here for Turner. Louisville has a visit this week, UW next week. So Turner is not a lock for us. And he's a guy who has some pretty good talent. 82 speed, 80 power moves, and golden workhorse as a true freshman. And Nenny, we're looking good for there. Again, no one else pulling after him or going after him, so we'll pull the points. Leaving the 5. Ooh, okay. Nebraska's coming in here for the contact-seeking athletic player. And that would be another running back at a contact seeker. I feel like we've got plenty of those guys, so I am actually going to pull everything there. Can't pull the scholarships already given. Toppins, I would love to land any of these offensive linemen that we can, just to put them as red shirts and let them develop. Which looks like we should be good to do, as a lot of these guys have pulled their offers, so we'll just leave a little bit here and there. Love to see it. Might be stealing some offensive linemen here late. Baylor, though, is coming in hard for Julius Christ, and another pure power guy. But the block shed is really low there, and the speed is really bad. I don't think he would develop much into a pass rusher. So I think this is another one that we will go ahead and pull the points. If it was free, I'd take him. But if I got to pay for it, I don't want it. Switch that up to 5, and now we could get down to our transfer portal guys, as no one is going after these guys. We may jump into that later. Tennessee with a big first push. Now we are still not out of these, because we can look to get visits scheduled first. And that could really swing things for us. Make things difficult down the line, for sure. What do we know here? Playing time is big for him, and that is good news for us. So we're going to get that scheduled up. Playing time. Attend a position meeting. We can change the points, but we would be gambling if we do. So we're going to send the house still. James Kegler can get him scheduled for not week 2, but maybe week 3. This is a closer race. So we're going to get him scheduled. I'm going to go week 4. It's risky because Missouri could schedule it first, but I want to make sure we get the defensive guys scheduled for week 3. And I would prefer getting the freshman. Conference prestige is his. Good news for us. I think I clicked the right one there. I actually might have not clicked the right one there. Well, let's hope Coach Prestige is big for him, because we can't change that one. What about the running backs? We're not out of this because we weren't on the board in the first place. So I'm not going to do anything crazy here. We can't change anything anyway there. But we might be in a troublesome spot for some of these running backs. Again, we'll wait a week there. Need to get into the top 5 for these guys to schedule those visits. Good jump here, though, for Jaden Blunt. Again, we were not on the radar for a lot of these guys. We can now schedule for week 3 here with Spillman. We will look to do that. This time doing it correctly. Coach Prestige is what he's looking for. So let's actually select the right one this time. Coach Prestige. Everyone saw it. It was correct, right? Knowing me, probably not. Council, where are we at here? Good jump, but not inside the top section yet. So what we should do, since we have the points available, and we can't put any more points here into these guys, is we should look at other options for running back, receiver, and potentially one more DB or potential defensive lineman. Because DTs are really big for us. So let's check for one more option for those guys with 415 points. Running back options. Contact seeker at the top. More contact seeker. Backfield threat. I'm just not that familiar here with these backfield threats. They also are already inside top 8s. So we may need to look more at some 3-stars. Let's do a search specifically here for running backs. East-West playmaker. Minimum 3 to 5. And anyone in open. 2 options. Solid. Boone, what did you do last year? Not much. Nor did Cutler. They're both on the older end as well. Might need to expand what we're looking at then. Top 8. See if there's any good battles that could be had then. Obviously, we're already in the race for Busby and Maddox. With all the success we've had at running back, I would have imagined more people would be interested. Rashad Penny? Is this a clone? I mean, I know they use former players' names, but it's pretty on the nose here. 23 carries, 68 yards. It looked like they used him down by the goal line. Maybe. He's the only one interested. We could check him. What about other options here? We could look at north-south receivers as well. Let's see if there's some better options there. No 4-stars. A little bit more in terms of has some production in Okine. But not a great running back class here. We'll check on the one that we have, but not looking promising. And we need to check for some more receivers, too. Got a gadget at the top. No more 4-stars on the board. A speedster. Anyone have some production? I want to bring in someone with some production. Jeff Ramsey, elusive route runner. Transfer sophomore with 73 catches, 1,100 yards, 2 drops. He might be small. He could be potentially as an elusive route runner. He was more of a speedster, but Tank Hawkins 2.0. I'm intrigued there. 900. Anyone else over 1,000? A route artist in Santiago Blum. Better size. Junior, though. 4 drops on 58 catches. I would like to know the targets. Looks like those are the options in terms of production. Could even look at the physical route runner here. Would be a senior. I would prefer younger. Blum would be a senior. We're going to check Ramsey. See if the little guy can make something happen. And we'll check corner as well one more time here. 5 interceptions with a bump and a run. Austin Marvin. Did we have some late additions, or did I just miss some of these guys earlier? Because I didn't see anyone with 5 interceptions. And we're in the actual transfer portal here. And all these other guys are transfers. See, I'm not crazy. I feel like it, but I'm not. Do some scouting here. Rashad Penny. I think it's spelled a little bit different. The speed doesn't look like it's going to be over the top as an east-west playmaker. Has some juke, some ball carrier vision. That speed is awful. Actually kind of matches Rashad Penny. It's a carbon copy right there. What about Ramsey? Little man wonder. Really good short route running. Really good agility. 84 speed? How are you getting all that yardage with that? I guess you just disappear. Is the corner at least good enough? Garvin. 78 press, 99 change of direction. He's a shifty guy. 96 agility. 88 catching. 77 man with gold house call. I think that's something we could work with. Would be a senior. We're going to offer that. So we still have some more points. Still need to find potentially another running back. Could look at some actual tight ends now. We have the excess. Gonna save kicker for like the last week. See if we could just steal someone. What do we got with these tight ends? Would love someone with some production. But I need someone who could get out in some space. Hayden Hodge didn't really do a whole lot there. Had a long of 29 yards. A pure blocker, though, Keenan Tam, who did have 653 yards. 5 drops. That does seem a little concerning. Valenzuela has some interest. Another pure blocker, though. We're going to do another search. Show me all tight ends that are pure possession. Yeah, let's go pure possession. Should have probably narrowed things down here because I don't want anyone that's less than a 3. And it is one option in Juan Ju. 6'1" at tight end. Not much production. What about physical route runner? They should still have some blocking, not a single one. Yeah, tight ends are just awful. Not exit recruiting. Really, really bad. If we just check overall here, because we didn't really do that. Is anyone super interested in coming here? No, go to the spot I want. Thank you. Super interested that we are not looking at. A speedster, Craig Lord out of Liberty. We did gloss over him. A guard in Daryl Adai. We did lose 2 guys. Sean, you're entering your 2029 season. Got them to a 90 overall. You rocking Kent State too? Might consider going after some of these linemen. Only allowed 2 sacks. Played 12 games. Almost 1,000 downs played. Yeah, Sean, Kent State. Kent State's a fun one. I mean, you really can build them however you want because they are so bad to start. Got a field corner here. Not exactly what we're looking for. Backfield threat. I'm going to have to rely on you guys. Do you know much about these backfield threats? I don't think I've used a single one yet. Do they have much speed? I'm looking for some guys with some shiftiness at the running back spot. I would even consider more elusive bruisers still at that main running back spot with where we're at right now with the running backs. I don't feel like I really need any more linebackers. North-south blockers normally are not fast at all. Elusive bruiser with Drango. 4 yards a carry at Boston College. I feel like this is a little bit more of a weaker recruiting class. Or transfer class. Warren Tenzio. I feel like I tried to recruit him and he did not choose to come here. Because the name just sounds familiar. We got 290 more points. Couple spots on our board. What is our weak spots here? Remember the team needs. We're looking to we've already brought in at least 1 quarterback, looking to potentially bring in 2 more. Potentially 2 running backs. Really could use with finding some receivers. Safety would be nice. Linebackers, we got a lot of high school guys. Edge rusher, we haven't looked at any edge rushers yet. And we need some speed there. So let's look for some edge rush. Looking at speed or power rushers. Anyone produce some sacks here? None. 4 for Browning. Another 3 there. I need someone that stands out here. Got to give me some big find. Looks like a lot of these guys are transferred because they weren't getting much playing time. Yeah, oh, there we go. Biggest we've seen is 5. Sophomore, power rusher. 7 tackles for a loss as well. 6'4", 250. Would be a good strong side guy. We'll check on career. We got 1 more spot to fill. Might look at some more rush DTs. Martino has some interest. Gap specialist, though. Pure power. If I could get over the right one, another pure power. A lot of pure powers here. Gap specialist. Give me some pass rush here. Every time I see a speed guy, they're not interested. Let's do a search. Give me some DTs. Speed rusher. Minimum 3-star. We got the one that seems to be interested. Okay, what about a power rusher? Do we have power rusher? We do have power rusher. Let's check them out. Sean, you got 2 5-star recruits. UAB took it at 12-1. Luckily, I haven't had anything like that happen where I should have been in. We've actually been pretty lucky that we've just gotten in, I think, perhaps more than we should have. And neither of these other guys have any sacks and would be seniors. Yeah, this is not a strong portal class, which I enjoy because, you know, we've had a lot of success with some portal guys. So we might have to rely on some young bloods this year, moving into the Big Ten. Well, then, is anyone eligible for a visit, then? Who isn't a high school guy? Does not seem like it. But I don't want to waste some points here, so let's see if we can find some high school tight ends. See if any decent guy is still on the board. Anyone open, perhaps? There's one. Pure possession at 6'1", 227. You're a receiver. We'll check you, though. We need some bodies. What about physical route runners? Nobody. Okay, we could check top 8. See if we can maybe steal somebody. No. Well, those are coming up and recommended. Any state doesn't change it. Okay. Just had to double check there just to make sure. Yeah, just nobody. Might check some DTs as well while we're here, though we are full on spots. So let's go ahead and check that one young buck at tight end. See if he happens to be our Maddox. And we also have career to check, too. Rasmussen. Run blocking, not great. Does have some speed. Good catch in traffic. I feel like we got to go after him just because we need some bodies. So we are going to toss a coin to your Witcher. Raekwon Career. That's a great name for an edge rusher. Please have good skills. Not great. Not great. I'm off on Creer. What are we looking at in terms of the edge rushers we've already kind of gone after? I know we're still struggling to bring in some of them. A couple close battles here. But if we can land some of these guys, they might just be starting. 80 power moves. Workhorse there. 79 power moves, a little bit slower. A couple options. Also, maybe even an outside linebacker would have to switch over. We might need to check outside linebackers just to see. We need outside linebacker. Thumpers sometimes have some good pass rush. Anyone open? There are options here. You got stats here on sacks. You do 4 sacks for Kikaha. It's a fun name. 3 for Carney. We're going to check on Kikaha. He'd be small for an edge rusher, but beggars can't be choosers, and at this point, we're almost begging. 83 speed. Now, it would be a gamble here because we don't actually get the rush moves. It's just the possibility of them having that, which we do also still need a run stopper. Did we get anything there? I don't feel like we did. Tackle's a little bit on the lower side. Strength, though, is at 83. Could potentially play some edge. We've got the points to work with here, so we're just going to gamble on it and hope that he has some pass rush. Just to try to help us out a little bit. Still got 110 to work with here, but our board is now full. So some of these guys here, we got a contact seeker. I said I was going to pull off here, but I mean, the speed is not quite there. I will pull off on that one. Julius Christ. I mean, we got the points. They just didn't have any. He has 78 power moves. He's just slow. He might be a slow rusher, but honestly, you need the rush. So we're going to go full send on him. Got a couple guys down here. Will Shabera. We can scout up. Coverage isn't great as a signal caller. Does have some decent speed. I don't think he would end up being anything highly rated, but could potentially develop. Is a gold team player. And then Armand Dorsey. Not bad. Not bad. His awareness is low, but everything else actually looks pretty good. We got 5 more hours left. We'll offer scholarships to those 2, and that is second round then. We did as much as we could. Got a couple more visits scheduled, and we're hoping that some of these are going to swing our way because these are the good players. The rest of the portal does not look to be that good. Sean, do you also go after free safety to replace the strong safety? Because at least through my playthroughs, it seems there's never really strong caliber, strong safeties to recruit. I haven't found great ones, but it all depends on the scheme you're running. If you're looking more for like a man cover team, then your safeties, you just want to look at all in general coverage specialist. If you're looking more at a zone coverage defense, then I would look more so at finding some zones for that free safety hybrid for the strong. Yep, we're going to head and move on to the next round. Hopefully with some good news, some big jumps. We got as much coach upgrades to help us out with the portal as we could. Hoping to start seeing some names pop up as commits. A couple freshman high school guys here would have been big. Do not hit. But no one's committed anywhere else yet, so we might be in a couple recruiting battles. Check in on those high school guys here. Manu, we are in a battle, but it's just down to Pitt and ourselves, and we have a pretty good pitch on the table here. Hopefully that is enough. We should be landing Wilkins, through the next sim. Should be getting Hurley probably towards the end. Another recruiting battle, but we have fallen behind for Nathan Turner. Again, we got a good pitch here. He did just go on a visit to Louisville. It's giving them the edge. That's one I'm not feeling too promising about. And then we should be landing. And yeah, they're running away with Sauer. So let's actually remove him, gain a spot, see if there's anyone we do want to end up stealing towards the end. And we do pull away there from Baylor. That's good. Lane should be ours as well. How about these quarterbacks, or actually toss some points these guys' way as well, since we are just now getting into the race for them. Quarterbacks, we are trailing here for Sydney, the sophomore transfer, but it was a big jump, and that was also our visit. So, not looking promising. Busby has blocked us out, as well as Rochelle, so not a receiver so far coming this way. We're going to have to find some receivers. Kegler, we're building, which is good. Now we are into the top 5 for a lot of these guys, so now we need to look to make that switch, set up some recruits, or some recruiting visits, and hopefully get something going our way. Pro potential and championship contender. I've also seen the thought process of doing double soft sells to make sure you hit on at least one of them could be an option for us. Let's say the one was pro potential. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Could be Sunday player, which would be good for us. It's not that one. And that, okay, so we know what it is. No problem with that then. Switch that on over. Schedule of visit is 40 points. Really need a running back here. And you don't get complimentary with the quarterback? That's really unfortunate. The other defenders, though, we had set for week 3. So we're going to stick with 4 here. We're going to go championship contender. Dingle. Not the best jump, but it is a jump. We are in front for Blunt. And playing style's big there. We only know one. It's coach stability. Coach stability and playing style. Well, not that one. Could be, but with those A's there, that does swing things. So maybe clutch. And clutch is the winner. I love when these just sort themselves out. Really helps us out. Attack on the 10 there. Set up a visit here. Defense we were doing week 3, so we're not getting some of these complimentary like we were hoping. Go with playing style. Actually, playing time was the other one, right? We're just going to go with what we know. Just to make sure. Don't want to risk it too much. Blunt, what are we looking at here? Playing time. And we actually know all of his, so that's good. Takes the question out of it all. And this time I actually knew which one it was. Little bonus for me there. Attack on the 10. That should get us a bigger swing, so I'm going to hold off on a visit there to save some points. It's getting tight here. Spillman. We don't know much for you. Coach Prestige is where it's at, but feel like we need it. So let's see. Coach Prestige. Yes. Give us Coach Prestige, then we'll just try to narrow things down. Could potentially be aspirational goals. Not status seeker. Potentially conference legend. Wait. No, Coach Prestige. Yes. No. Yeah, could still be conference legend. No, I was looking at conference prestige. Wow, I am really messing this one up. Double check for the 3rd time. Okay. Coach Prestige. No. Maybe Coach Connection. Could be aspirational goals still. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. So it does come down to 2. Aspirational goals. What was the other one? Or coach connection. I've never seen any of them be coach connection. But I'm wondering if this is a spot where we should try doing a double soft sell. Just to make sure we get one. It'd be risky. We do also have the visit this week. So if we are going to be risky, now's probably the time to do it. So let's do a double soft sell here. And it's going to be one of these 2. And on top of that, we'll tack on the 10. We could really use with Spillman. Council, we're looking good with there. But we could also set up that complimentary visit, so we will look to do that. Brand exposure is big. Anything else big? Playing time. We've got a spot open. Why don't you come join? And that's all we could do there, but we're looking maybe good for these guys. Rasmussen doesn't seem as interested, but hopefully he will be. 260 points left. We got to find a receiver. So we've got plenty of points then to look at these guys, and we're just going to have to go perhaps a little bit off of the scheme fit here just so we have some bodies. So a lot of these guys are getting scooped up. Nate Reef, he was the one that we checked out earlier, right? We ended up liking him. He was slow. Cameron Page, gadget. About 750 yards roughly. Did have 5 drops. Isn't open though. Craig Lord was interested in us. Pitt going pretty heavy for him, but still not inside the top 5 yet. We'll check out Lord as well. And Ramsey we didn't like because he was slow. Lewark, 911. That's a rough number. Rough number, but sophomore. Let's check in on these 3. Filled up our board anyway. Gadget from Chandler, Arizona. 82 throw power. 86 speed. Not my favorite. Good route runner, though. Craig Lord, speedster. 88 speed, and you're a speedster? Does have 95 catching traffic, though. 89 acceleration. Really good spec catch. We'll check in on Lord here. 6'1". Good height. Decent height, I should say, but pretty light at 170. We're going to have to put him on a workout plan in the offseason if he chooses to come here. Patrick Lewerke. Lewerke? Lewerke? Go with Lewerke. 77 catching, not great, but golden hands does help make up for it. But he's slow. Bye-bye. Check my message here real quick. Okay, cool. Good news there. Still got $135 to work with here and still needing some receivers. Let's see. We search. I wish you could search by 40 time, like you could back in the old NCAA days. Let's check elusive route runners. Down to 3-star, any recruiting stage. Ramsey was slow. What about Chris Humphreys? Hasn't had much of an opportunity. Because I feel like what we need is a guy to play the slot. Armin Hayes on the outside. Lake has the potential to play on the outside. We need a slot. A number 3 guy. Not going to be a huge need for us. But Taj Stewart here. Freshman. Let's take a look at him. He's also interested in us. And he's already inside the top 5. So could potentially speed up the options here. Rashad Poole. Did you do anything? You did as a freshman. Did Stewart? He did. So both would end up being sophomores. Check on those 2. Why is everyone slow? Come on, Poole. Give me some speed here. Got to have at least 88 speed. Good short route running to start. Really good medium. Doesn't show me release. Come on, speed. 88 or 89 at the minimum. 85. He could get faster. He would be playing in the slot. Just not a great class. I'm going to hold off on Poole, even. Because if we're going to land someone, Lord has that 95 catch in traffic, he would be our guy over the middle. Shawnee say, got advice, I just made a mistake. I didn't offer any scholarships before the season started, and everyone who had me first tanked in interest, including 2 5 stars and a bunch of 4 stars. Yeah, always got to offer those scholarships. Leave, what was it, 35 times 5. Do that math, leave that amount of points so you could scout up to that amount, and then at that point, you just got to offer the scholarships. So we got at least one receiver on the board here. Really would like to find a tight end. The tight ends have looked horrendous. I feel like I already checked the high school tight end board here. Rasmussen just didn't really show us time of day so far. We might just have to gamble on one of these pure blockers potentially having some speed. And by gamble, I mean we'll still have some points that we could check. Or we just got to go vertical threat to hope they have some blocking. Jaden Hodge, or Hoge. Or Keenan Tam. Tam was a better receiver, so we're going to check the blocking here. Or the speed of Tam. Right now, no one is interested in the pure blocker. Hands aren't promising. 70 catching, but he still racked up a lot of yards. Has 80 speed. Does have pocket shield as well. Some good route or some good run blocking. Because we need the bodies, we're going to offer. I'm only going to go 25 because I do want to still check some more tight end. It's not heavy used in the offense, but where it is, I think we could very much use with some speed there, especially if the receiving core is going to be light for us, which it seems like it is. So do we go Tam? It'd be a 1-year kind of stopgap, and hopefully next year a better group. There is the pure possession guy in Juan Jun. Why did we not check him? Juan Jun, please make this all be worth it. The wait. Give me something good here. And we've got 15 more points. 83 speed. Good run blocking. There's all of our points for this round. Offered as many visits as possible. Things are coming down to the final week, and we're going to hope that we jump in front for some of these guys. A couple recruiting battles as well for the high schoolers. This has not been the most promising offseason yet in terms of the portal and landing some big names. That could all change, though, in these next couple sims. And we land Ezekiel Wilkins, corner from Encinitas, California. Again, let me know if I pronounced that correctly. Who you think wins, IU or Miami? Sean, I'm hoping Indiana wins. Just for the pure randomness. Because I'm so tired of seeing the same teams in the same spots. Excuse me, I was looking at that. I was about to talk about some sad news. As we do lose out on that transfer freshman quarterback, Sydney. We do not need to learn how to pronounce his name. Manu is also going to Pitt. Good news is that other edge guy who we were in a recruiting battle with hasn't committed yet. Doesn't mean we're going to get him, though. Sean also hoping IU wins. My question is, does Mendoza's talent transfer well to the Raiders? Do the Raiders go with him, or do the Raiders pull a Raiders and go with someone else entirely with that top selection? I'm, again, hoping for pure chaos. But Manu is out. We get the corner. As a reminder here on the corner, pretty solid. Still not going to be a starter day one, needs to develop. As for these other guys, we should be landing Hurley. Not too promising with Turner. So in that instance, Hurley does have some good finesse, speed a little bit low. I think we might need to do a deep dive in this final week if we have the extra points to find another edge rusher. Sean here hopes the Raiders get him though, because we saw what the Jets did with Sam Arnold's career. Yeah, I'm also kind of hoping the Jets get him, release Geno, and the Vikings, who are my team, maybe pick up Geno just to be that veteran, either mentor or push JJ to play ball and be healthy would be great. But we do look like we're going to get Toppins here, big, so we are going to land some offensive linemen. Matlock as well. They might be late additions, not initial signing day guys. Baylor coming in late here with a visit for Julius Kreis. I wasn't huge on him, so if they do take him, great. Again, he was the guy who has that power moves, just not terrific speed. And we might get Tommy Lane as well. Shabera still not showing us love, nor Dorsey. Out here on Sydney, so do we bring in any quarterback? It's not looking promising right now. We have the visit with Kegler. We're going to need to see what other quarterbacks are available. We have the visit as well with Maddox, but we are trailing behind. Check to make sure we're all good here on what we were offering. We haven't even put in a hard sell yet. So that is a miss on Kegler. Should have done that earlier. Conference prestige, not coach prestige. Which means we will have all the options. I was wrong on my guess that time. That one should be it. Conference prestige, we got the other two. Aspirational goals looks good. Hopefully that tips Kegler in our stead with that visit. But we might need to look at some other quarterbacks. Nate Maddox, also not being favored yet. Have that visit. Have a good, strong sell there. We do jump in front for Dingle. That is big. Good there, but the playing time has tanked on him. So I'm going to pull the hard sell here, or the hard sell. We're going to go send the house. Not sure why that changed, but I feel like it'd be better for us if we switch. Jaden Blunt, we are also in front on no visit scheduled there for either team. In front with Spillman. That is big. Which one of these was correct? Coach connection. The one I said it never is was the actual one. So I'm glad I didn't go with what I imagined it was going to be with the aspirational goals. We're going to switch up on that. Hard sell, coach connection. If you hear the dogs barking, apologies. Looking good there. Should be getting counsel. We could not even try to hard sell that at all. We're going to not tell him that we don't match anything he's looking for. No one else is going after Garvin, so I'm not going to press there. We jump in front here for one of the tight ends. That's good news. He is the high school recruit who does need some time, I feel like, to develop a little bit, especially that run blocking. We are in front for Kikaha, who hopefully has some pass rush ability. If not, we could use with a good run-stopping linebacker. What was his block shed? Does it tell us? No, so it's also a gamble in that instance, too. For Lord, we are not in front of, but we did take a big jump here. Coach Prestige. I need the music thing to go away. Championship contender. We're going to look to change this. Look for a hard sell. Championship contender with that Coach Prestige. Could be aspirational goals. Could be house call. So one of those two. House call or aspirational goals. I think we go with a double here. It worked out well for us last time. So we're going to double it up. Double or nothing here. And on top of that, if we have the extra points, we might also schedule a visit, which we do have the quarterback coming. So actually, we are going to straight up go in and schedule this visit because we need that boost with Kegler. Tam, we've jumped up here. We're not at the top, but we are moving. No one else, though, is interested. Someone could jump in late. And then we've got some points here to give Tam as well. We need to bring in some tight ends. We've been pretty light on that the last couple weeks. Now, this is the final week. So as a reminder, if you are just at the top of their board in terms of how many points you have given in, you don't have to fill it out. You will get them. Sometimes they will initially commit elsewhere as a walk-on. They may still show up on your roster after the training, the off-season training. So we could still land some guys that we may not be at the very, very top. But speaking of top position of potential need right now could be quarterback, potentially even running back. So what are we looking at here with these quarterbacks? Show me quarterbacks, dual threats, 3 stars or higher, any stage. Anyone still up on the board? Now, we do still have Del Griffin as a potential option to start. Barry Roll. That's a fun name. Didn't play last year, so there's not much to know about him. Other teams are interested. Is at top 5, but does have interest in us. We have some points. I will consider looking at him. Don't know why I went all the way over there, because I wanted to check on running backs. Show me running backs. We already checked what I was trying to switch to. Let's check elusive bruisers. 3 stars, any spot. And did he commit somewhere? Just not showing the block because he committed? Why am I not allowed? Because I'm at 35. That would be why. Am I out on anyone here? Can I make some space? It doesn't look like it. I can actually. Manu off the board. Gonna have to find that running back again. Do some scouting. If they make the board, then they stay on. Running back, elusive bruiser 3. The guy who was out of Florida State. Devin Naylor. Elusive bruiser. Freshman, didn't play last year. We'll do some scouting, then I got to take a quick break. Actually, let's leave a little bit of some drama real quick. I'm going to do a quick little bathroom run here. So I'm going to insert an ad, and we will be right back. All right, let's get back into action. Hopefully I didn't lose too many of you. I know the Natty is now, or should be, officially underway at this point. Just, in fact, let me go check to see what's going down there. And then we'll do the scouting. In fact, there were 2 running backs we have options for. One would be a senior. I prefer to bring in a young guy, so we are going to add Naylor to that. Now, I'm checking the Natty here on ESPN, and it doesn't show it's actually started yet. So it looks like things running a little bit behind. But let's check in on these two potential late additions. We're looking to hopefully land a 35-player class, trying to fix this roster. Now, San Jose and Iowa State might be pretty upset if we do end up liking this quarterback. Barry Roll. Hopefully going to be rolling a lot. Now, he does not have that deep accuracy. Medium accuracy is not great. Overall accuracy is very poor. You know what, San Jose? You can have him. Hopefully the running back isn't as bad. Elusive bruiser. Hopefully with some speed. Ball carrier vision isn't great at 72. 88 speed could be a decent spot to start with. Does have the gold road dog. Not awful. In fact, very similar, I feel like, to where we started with Jimmy Yazzie. Now, Yazzie ended up having more abilities. I don't get a stiff arm in here. He ended up having that, I want to say it was gold armbar. Might have even been platinum. We'll toss on the 50 there. We still got 220 to try to potentially find a quarterback. Just a safety net type quarterback. This time we're going to look at the pure runners because we haven't looked there yet. And hopefully if you find a more upperclassman, they would have developed some of that throwing ability. But there's not even a pure runner available. Everyone is... Why can't I go after this guy? Because a deal breaker. That would be why. Maybe I should actually have some sort of open to coming to the school. Okay, so pure runner is out. Dual threat, I feel like we looked at all the options there as well. I normally don't like backfield creators. But we may just have to dip into that as a potential stopgap situation, if there is even one available. And it doesn't look like it. Right now, things are looking pretty good for Miles Cheeseman to be the starting quarterback if we don't end up flipping the commit of Kegler. Only other option is pocket passer. We'll see if any are available. Scout them, see if they got some speed. Cam Bryant, pocket passer at 6'2", 189. Probably wouldn't be developed much, but you know what? Apparently, I'm going to not look at him. Hit the wrong button there. Good job, me. So Bryant is an option. He is the only other transfer quarterback option from Notre Dame. If I keep hitting the wrong buttons, it's going to be a while till we get this sorted out here. No other team is interested. From New Jersey. Deep at 72. Throw under pressure. Throw on the run. It's not looking good for him. 71 speed. I got to say I'm out on that. So if we just then go to look at the overall prospects, what do we got at the quarterback situation? No, the quarterback situation. Anyone who has happened to slip. You got to scroll a good ways here. Let's do a search. Quarterback, dual threat, 3-star. Open? Anybody? No. What about top 8? No. So it looks like we are just about out of luck when it comes to quarterbacks. Meaning, we've got to get the flip here for Kegler. Where is he? We are not even the second team, but we have the visit. We have a good pitch. We got the DM on top of that. We have another player coming. If we could schedule another complimentary visit, that might help us out. So we need to go to the transfer portal. all players interested, top 5 for us. If there's an edge rusher, that would be big. I forgot we do need an edge rusher. There's a Will. With all the success we've had with some rushers, not a single one seems to be interested. Or at least pre-interested. I know we haven't talked to them up to this point. We had to dip all the way down to a 2-star. Are any of these 2-stars producing? Like a 2-star junior who did something, I mean, I would do it. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Though that doesn't help us in getting a actual complimentary visit, right? Would an offensive lineman be complimentary visit? Let's just check real quick. I'm sure we got someone here inside the top 5. It would be. So we could look to see if there's an offensive lineman available in the portal with interest. OT, give me some agile 3-star top 5. Nobody at tackle. Nobody at guard. And center, there is one. Tim Potoe. I always have to Google these ones. Now you guys know what I go through behind the scenes. Potoe? Perhaps? Kennesaw, Georgia does have an offer from Alabama. Only played 281 downs. Before we jump on that, let's check well-rounded. Much more options here, including a 4-star. I already put him on the board. Wanted to check other things first. In George Boodle. Louisiana's looking at him. Or not Louisiana. Louisville. 13 games played. 3 sacks allowed. 2 pancakes. I'm going to put him on the board. I'm still going to check the other spots as well. Nope, guard, well-rounded, just to see if there's other 4-stars. There is, but we are locked out on that one for Frederick Shipman. And no one there, so all right. That looks to be what will be our final player added to this board, unless he is awful after scouting. A well-rounded center, just interior offensive lineman with good pass block power. Good awareness, not too bad of impact. A silver option shield with strong run block finesse. Good pass block. I said that weird, pass block. Overall, he looks amazing. As a junior, I don't know if I wasted any points there, but we're going to offer that scholarship. We are going to send the house. We're going to get him on a visit again to help out the quarterback. Coach Prestige is what he's interested in. We still have 90 points available. So why don't we just max out everything we can here with a completely maxed out recruiting board. Just got to delete that one first. Still got 40 points here. Is anyone eligible for a visit that would actually help us out here this week? Can't set up him, but that's also not a transfer. I don't think it'd matter for any of these guys as no one is interested. So why don't we help try to ensure nothing crazy happens and we just throw Blunt on a visit? Never mind, we can't. Apparently we already have 4 players scheduled, so just kidding on that part. There is nothing else we could do here with our board full. And we can't set up any more visits, so that is the off-season recruiting. And now it's time to see if we land all 35 players on our board. It's a big board, which would mean we would be cutting the dead weight at the bottom of the roster. It's a rough way of saying it, but when you're looking to continually move up, sometimes you've got to do it. With points to spare, we do not go after a kicker. David Uwezuoke will be the kicker into next season. Hopefully he develops well. But we should be getting a long list of names here. Starting with Jaden Blunt. We land the Rush DT, and by all means will probably be starting for us without even seeing the ratings. We also get Brian Hurley, so we do get an edge, which is good news because it's pretty thin for us. Zaire Toppins, one of those high school guys. Clay Biggs, another high school guy, getting some depth, some new red shirts. Rico Matlock, 4-star center. We get Julius Kreis. So he does not end up going to Baylor. Did not like the visit. Heads to little old Kent State. We get Tommy Lane, another high school recruit. And we do land the athlete transfer tight end in Derek Rasmussen. So we at least bring in one. We also get Nate Maddox. That is a big pull. I want to say we were second, if not third, on his board, but we had the visit here late, complimentary with the quarterback, complimentary with, I think, maybe a receiver, maybe an offensive lineman as well. Big pull. I'm hoping we get a quarterback popping up on here. We get Glenn Council. That's a big addition. And we get Miles Kikaha, maybe a linebacker, maybe an edge rusher. We're going to have to check his ratings. We get Austin Garvin. That name doesn't sound as familiar. Might have been a high school player. Maybe someone we just went at late. We do get Spillman, another big get. Could very well be a starter on the outside for us. We get Isaiah Aneni, another high school guy. We get Craig Lord. My bad, Greg. And then we also get Keenan Tam. 2 tight ends do commit. We now have one that's very much a pass blocker, and now we get Juan Ju, the actual true possession guy. We doubled our tight end room here. We also get Devin Naylor, the young transfer, and the quarterback's name is not on the list. And you're going to pull me away from that screen. I guess the drama rolls on then to find out where that quarterback ended up going. We flipped other commits, but I don't think we landed a quarterback. Nathan Turner does end up going to Louisville. So we're not getting a full 35 class. But we got a lot of players. Looks like we may even not get Greg Shabero. We did offer him a scholarship, so we may still get both of these two. And Kegler does go to Missouri. I would have loved to see where we were in that race. That's one thing I do miss NCAA 14, where you show me what happens. FSU comes in and steals away Dingles, so we are going to be pretty light in the rush DT spot, which may just open things up for Hyman to get more of opportunity. But I think we put Missouri on the schedule this year. See if Cheeseman can beat out the quarterback we tried to bring in. As for everyone else, we land all but George Boodle, the guy we tried to go after late. Louisville also was going after him late. They lock him down. So we get, a 33-man class? After some extra guys join late, 31-man class, which puts us not top 10. We started at 19. We actually dropped out of the top 20, down to 22. Not a 5-star. I think we've maybe only gotten 1 5-star. I don't even know if we've gotten a 5-star actually yet. But 12 4-stars and 17 3-stars. That gives us 215.85 points. For the Big 12, which we will be leading, we just get the top spot by TCU. We are headed, though, to the Big 10, and we would have been down here. So not inside the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. we would have been number 9 in the Big Ten. But hopefully this move will open things up here, and perhaps some of these guys in the Big Ten aren't going to be in the Big Ten come next season. But that is our recruiting class through and through. I feel like we got a lot of things done. But one of the biggest things I wanted to get done was that quarterback spot. And finding even a second quarterback to potentially rotate in. We did not do that. So position change as we go. Just check in on everything here. I know we have some athletes. And by some, I mean one. Rasmussen actually says he could play some safety. He's a pretty low overall tight end. Surprisingly, I thought the ratings actually didn't look that bad. Well, that's where he's going. Fill in some depth there for us. So we got 3 quarterbacks on roster, and Del Griffin comes in, a 73 elite dev quarterback. We'll see how the progression hits some of these guys. Cheeseman does have competition in the true freshman, and both potentially could see the playing field, maybe fair as well. We're going to have to figure things out at quarterback. But right now, I'd say Cheeseman and Griffin are probably the top 2. Running back-wise, we do bring in Maddox, an 84 overall junior. Thought he, maybe it hasn't moved him up yet, but it already did Mayo, so maybe he actually is coming in true junior. I could have sworn that they would get older, but he comes in 95 speed, good acceleration. It'll be him with Mayo rotating with him. And then Scales will probably be riding the bench, depending on how the upgrades go. Devin Naylor brought in also in the transfer portal. It's going to be him, Allen, and Harbor all battling for that flashback role. Just checking quickly on some potential run blocking. Allen is in the front. He's in the lead for that. We'll see how some development goes. We now went from a questionable running back group to now a pretty strong group. Receiver. Lord comes in, another senior. So I feel like he did good go up, because I could have sworn it was a junior listed for him. What is his caps at here? Will he get better impact there? And he will get a little bit better. He will get faster. I feel like that's a good pull for us. We'll probably end up editing that number. I don't know about a receiver wearing number 9. That's quarterback number. Danny Sternberger. He's coming in a 76 overall true freshman. And he very well might just be playing as a true freshman. Demetrius Willingham might be redshirted, though. Theory, we'll see if he makes the roster. Tight end, Tam comes in an 80 overall. Jew comes in as a 83. Assuming I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Ezekiel Shelley, still down at a 70. We'll see which of the original guys develop well. Addison and Rasmussen battling for the bottom. We should see some good improvement for Browning. Casey should see some good improvement. Stitzer maybe as well. Jabari Okoye stays around. We do bring in Rico Matlock as well, a 75. We've got some good young guys on roster. We just need to see some good development this offseason, because the line could very well be taking a step back. Same for the defensive line as well. We do not bring in any other potential edge rushers. We do still have to check on those linebackers. We do bring in Ben Hardrick. He's an edge setter, though. We are going to move him over to the left side, because that is where I want my strong side guys to be. And you do have a power guy here in Tyler Teague. Does have some speed. Would not be starting over Shabera. So once again, we're also going to move him into that left side. Create some competition to that side. And it might just rotate this year, because we've got a number of guys who could potentially see some playing time. It's just that 68 speed that is massively concerning, which is unfortunate, because he does have some good moves, or good power move at least. DT-wise, Hyman leads the group with Darrell Morris coming in, a 75 true freshman. Blunt, 75 redshirt freshman. Riggins, a 74 true freshman. Which one of these guys? Blunt was the transfer, but he's a young transfer. Does have some decent speed. Morris has some speed as well. Morris has 87 finesse moves. Morris will be playing as a redshirt, as a true freshman. He will be one of our rush DTs. More of a 3-tech at 280. In fact, both these guys a little small. But we'll get the power guy to be more of that number one, get more of the double teams, I feel like, with that power ability. And then the speed with Jarrell Morris. Hopefully he could take off. It's going to be a change here. I don't think we're going to dominate as much as we did in seasons past. Now, Pat Holiday, you are a thumper, which means you might have some pass rush ability. And you do have some. 75. But the speed doesn't really separate him from those other edge guys. What about down the middle? Any of these guys a surprising edge rusher? Tim Snead has some of that ability. No one else does. And Snead is not moving off the line. Or down to the line, I should say. Kikaha was the guy we brought in. We might also just need him to potentially be a linebacker. Gambling here on potential pass rush ability. He's got 85 power moves and 78 finesse moves with 83 strength and 83 speed. You are moving to left end. You will go up in rating as well. The gamble paid off. I think that deserves a like. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that. It'll be a competition for who develops most, but Kikaha might come in as a small but mighty edge rusher. Big get. Now, I feel like we do need to move around some of these linebackers because our 3 potential top guys are all listed at Mike. So, looking for the strongest option, that is Butts. Looks like he's going to move to our Sam linebacker. Does go down in overall. Let's check on Yaboa. He also goes down. So both will go down no matter their move. Yaboa is going to move to Will. And then Butts will move to Strong or Sam. That gives us 4 here at middle, 4 here at Sam, 3 at Will. I like that. Pretty well balanced. We'll see some good development. Holiday now has competition. Cornerback room. Spillman comes in, our highest overall, as an 83. Him and Christic will look to lock things down. Austin Garvin was a guy that we did have come in as a transfer. So that's going to potentially provide some pressure there for the slot. We check things out here. Christic does struggle in the zone. We don't run too much of that. The other 2 a bit more balanced. In fact, Spillman a little bit more questionable in the press. And really good tackler. He's going to be probably in a similar role. Well, no, because I want Christic on the field all the time. So what we're going to do is going to be Spillman and Christic in the base package. Garvin will go to the outside, and then Spillman will go to the slot whenever we go into nickel or dime. That looks good, and it gives more time here for Brents to develop because he needs to develop that speed. Worried about the 88 speed with the 87 acceleration against Big Ten competition. So all in all, ends up working out well for us. We got some more guys to develop down the line. It's a big cornerback room that probably will be thinned out after we get to that point, after the training camps. Derek Zyman still leading the group here. Probably will be continuing to lead that group. Hopefully good development for him. Council comes in an 81 overall with the speed that Natson does not. Does Natson have any sort of linebacker skills? Good hit power, good tackling. Does have some block shed. I feel like he could move down to a will linebacker. And that will actually give us 4 at each spot. So that actually ends up working out pretty well here for us. And it gets the massive concern of speed in the secondary out of there. Now we do have Trask. Not 6 foot, at least 200 pounds. The speed is not of a safety. He has some tackle ability. Block shed is really low. I just think he's the guy that's probably going to end up being cut, unfortunately. And for David Uwe-Zuoke, he skims by this time as we did not have the space to add a kicker there late. But that is all of the movement. Actually, let's check the offensive line real quick. I think there was a couple guys who should switch spots. Like Stitzer should probably be center, but we do still have Okoye. There was also a pass protector, Wilkins. You got to move to a tackle spot. So let's move you to left tackle. That gives us 3 over there. 3 over here. Plenty of bodies there as well. 2 here at right guard. 2 at left guard. And then 3 at center. Fairly well balanced. Some of these guys will end up being red-shirted anyway. So that is the player adjustments, as we didn't end up moving some of those strength guys. We'll let them ride as it is for now. That's all we need to do in that stage. Actually, yeah, all we needed to do. I meant to check earlier to see some of our competition where guys ended up being drafted, but trying to get through this a little bit quicker as we are definitely eating into the time of the Natty. Might as well go ahead and check that while we wait through the sim, as there are a couple guys who are considering moving. Right now, 0-0. Indiana with the ball, and they're driving. Dev upgrade for Spillman. We bring him over, and he gives us a dev boost. Really hoping Zyman gets one. No. We just had the one. Okay, well, training results it is, and I'm hoping for big upgrades for our quarterbacks, because we need it. Our top overall player is Keenan Tam with a plus 15. Well, he's headed to the NFL after this year. He doesn't even have to hit the field. Shabera goes up by 3. 89 true, but right now getting some bonuses up to a 91. Godwin also cracking the 90. Okoye does not improve, but he was also injured last year, so it makes sense. Tim Snead improves. Spillman improves. Maddox improves, the guy we just brought in. A lot of big upgrades here. Cheeseman goes up only 3. Kevon Fair by 5. Very similar athletically. Agility, though, very much goes up for Cheeseman. Change of direction as well. Awareness for him is low. Throw power does not improve. Short accuracy is better for Fair. It's better medium for Cheeseman. Dramatically better, though, deep for Kevon Fair. Throw under the run, Fair. Throw under pressure, Fair. Break sack, Cheeseman. Play action, Fair. Carrying is also Fair. Ball carrier vision, also Fair. Juke, though, does go to Cheeseman, as well as spin move, as well as broken tackle or break tackle. And injury by far is Cheeseman, so looks like we're going to have some competition early on, a 3-way quarterback battle. That'll be fun. Maddox does go up, plus 3 speed, now 98 speed, 99 acceleration. Our quarterbacks might not even have to run much this year. Either hand it off down the middle or get it outside to Maddox. Mayo does go up by 5. Naylor goes up by 6. Scales goes up by 3. None of the other running backs, though, get a boost to their run ability in terms of their speed or acceleration. Good boost of agility, though, to Naylor. I think we're going to have a heavy rotation at running back, with carrying actually going to Mayo. Naylor second. Not very good for Nate Maddox, but he does have great ball carrier vision. It's going to be fun to watch what these guys can do this year. In terms of stiff arms, doesn't look like we're going to be doing too much of that. Spin moves, though, might have a little bit more of that this year. Good juke there from Mayo. All right, what is the injuries here? Definitely better for Maddox, so he's going to get a bulk of the carries. That's for sure. Also could be a good return man. We bring in a new running back out of Dallas, Texas. He might be here for 2 years. As for the receivers brought in, Lord goes up by 3, just 1 for Armin Hay, as expected. Theory does get the plus 6, only plus 1 for DeAndre Lake. Rather disappointing for him, who was in line to potentially see some playing time. Now doesn't look like it's going to be the case, potentially could even be redshirted. Tight ends getting that big plus 15 for Keenan Tam. But Ezekiel Shelley did get the boost to his speed we were looking for. Lupke does go up a little bit, but I think it's going to be two seniors leading the way at tight end this year. Honestly, if I was Lupke, I wouldn't be surprised, real life-wise, if he would look to transfer. Awareness, looking really good for Tam, though the catching is very concerning. So what we might do is more specifically go in and do formation subs, and in the heavier looks have Keenan Tam. And then maybe Juan Jude comes out in more of the spread looks, because his hands are so much better. Might have to see a rotation there. Faster as well. I think this is going to be the year of rotation, for sure. Run blocking, Tam went up by 10 across the board. Love to see that. Lupke just still kind of dragging behind here. Really disappointing because I really liked him. He did gain 3 pounds, which is good because he's pretty light. Offensive line-wise, Browning gets that +3, so we got an 80 coming in here, left tackle. 86 in Casey. Stitzer's also up to an 80, so we may move some guys around. But 90 strength here. We need to have some play style boost here, otherwise a redshirt freshman might be looking to transfer. Which we haven't had to worry too much about starters transferring away from us for a while. Center-wise, no boost here for Okoye. Does actually get some boost to his blocking, though. Just didn't raise the overall. Did get a pound heavier. McLean gets a +3. So we do have some guys that could move over and play some right guard. German only the +1 gets upended by the freshman. Godwin +2. +1s down the line, nothing crazy there. +5 for Dominique Wake, getting +2 to his speed. If we take a look, I mean, the power moves are there for Dominique Wake. It's just that speed. It's even slower than Blackwell, and it was a struggle for him to get to the quarterback. There is the acceleration. I think, what's the block shedding here? Wake will at least be the starter for the base packages. Might still go Kikaha for the pass rush. He did gain 3 pounds in the offseason. It's always good news. Tyler Teague also gets some boosts here as another balanced threat, potentially for the outside with the speed. So we got options here. We're going to have to play some hot hands. Shabera gets that +3, Mevis +3, and Ojeda. Power moves up to 93 for Shabera. Good block shedding as well, too. Down the middle, Hyman, +2. A little bit of speed and acceleration, gets even stronger up to a 96. He's coming in at 5'11", 331 pounds. That's a nose tackle if I've ever heard of one. No boost, though, to his pass rush or block shedding. He does, however, have the gold grip breaker that did improve and gold workhorse. Jaden Blunt does improve his power moves. Finesse moves doesn't, nor his block shedding. Does get a little bit stronger as well. James Tejeda does improve. A little bit stronger for him. But he's just lagging behind in a lot of these other ratings. So we'll see if he sees the field much. DT might be another questionable spot. Butts goes up by 2. A little bit more speed for him. Anything crazy here? Some good boost to the zone coverage. I feel like he will be one of our primary starters. Tim Snead gets that nice boost heading into his senior year. +5 speed, +6 acceleration. Not to mention the agility and the change of direction. Gets smarter. Doesn't improve much of the other abilities, though. The coverages doesn't improve, nor the block shedding. And then Yeboah does get upended here by Steven Natson, transferring from that safety room to the linebacker room. +2 pounds. He would be a small linebacker, but it is weak side linebacker for a reason. He's faster. He's got better awareness. Way better tackling, surprisingly. Better block shedding. Not going to be much of a blitzer. Surprisingly, worse coverage. So he might be a base package guy, but wouldn't be in line really to be a backup nickel or dime linebacker. Sub linebacker, if you will. Spillman gets the +5 as well as Christic Weathersby. We were looking for some of these freshmen from last year to jump up, and that he does. Past Brents as well. This cornerback room is looking a whole lot better, which is massive because we've been relying on transfer after transfer. Nice to try to develop some of our own guys. Now, Brent still has some of the better coverage ability, though it is almost flipped that of Weathersby, who's going to be more of that zone type, but does have good press. Need to see the man improve. See what the cap is on him. Man can get better. Unlimited, though, for the zone and for the power. So this DB group is stepping up and will improve over the next couple seasons. Weathersby, Brents will probably be starters next season. Yearby, he also goes up by 9, plus 6 here for Neighbors, 7 for Ogba. Good jumps. Really good jumps. Anyone down the line here with an impressive stat? Zone coverage, 82 for Duggar. Got 79 for Neighbors' man coverage. Yeah, Brents looks very intriguing. And could fight for potentially some playing time, I should say. Zyman just the +1. That normal dev of his is really slowing him down. Does have the golden house call, but nothing else. The man is uncapped, but he's just not really improving. The speed doesn't get any improvement either. It's a little bit disappointing with the upgrade there at free. Kind of goes back to what Sean was saying earlier. Not finding great safeties, but hopefully Council is one with now Platinum, House Call, and Robber. We do get +2 speed and acceleration as well for Abrams, so that's in a better spot. Change of direction, 95. Awareness and play rate could be better, but 90 zone coverage with 92 catching. 74 tackle. We got a safety to roam the top for sure. We thought Derek Jackson had a good year. I think Council's going to outdo him. It's just a 1-year gap for us. But we got to go after some better safeties in the future for sure. David Uwe-Zuwoke does not improve his kicking ability. Probably because of how bad he was last year. Hopefully, he's not going to be as bad this year. But that is a big step here for Kent State. As we look to sim forward here, we'll look to find out where we are overall wise. And you can see it actually there. 84 with an 86 offense, 81 defense. Only a couple players with the potential to transfer. Speaking of transfer, I feel like we got to kick out only a couple guys. That's surprising. Let's see here, position by position, anyone I want to kick out of here. I would kick out the fullback, but we're not allowed. Addison can continue to improve. I would consider Toppins, but it doesn't let us. It's annoying. For a Toilet, could be a potential guy to release. Tejeda, though, I feel like it's going to be more him. I think we're going to rock with some of these young guys. I mean, we don't have great block shedding, though, because these guys are all going to be rushers. So I think Tejeda has to stay strictly to be a backup nose tackle. Could look to maybe move off of one of these other linebackers because I don't think they're ever going to improve enough to play. Or either one of them capped out. 2-star Gee can technically still improve. What about Coxie? Or Coxie? Either or, whatever one YouTube prefers. Could also get a little bit better. Sean, should I redshirt freshman, elite, and star devs? If they're not going to play and they don't care about playing time, then I would say yes. Again, if they're not going to play. What about Emmanuel Komar? Already is considering transferring anyway after this season because he knows he's not going to get that playing time feel like that would be a better option. Honestly, still might get rid of both. Any of these corners, any older guys. Duggar is a senior. You are not going to play this year. So that is an easy encourage. Only got to get rid of one more guy. Talked about Trask not fitting. I think that's going to end up being the case. So not having to get rid of as many players as I expected after a 31 or so man class. Not too shabby. Definitely still some holes on roster. Now conference realignment is here. This is one that I want to take a lot of time to go through and make sure that I'm moving guys where they should be or teams where they should be. So the only thing we're going to do here, and it will end up being the last thing we do. So if there's a players whose caps you want to see, their dev traits you want to see, leave that in the comments right now. We will check on it. But first and foremost, we got to fill what this whole stream started with. As a reminder, if you were not here, Big 12 has expelled Kent State. The synopsis of the story is the longtime teams are upset. We got all of the media time, all the money here. So they want Kent State gone. They want the money to go back to their teams. So they're kicking us out. It's a weird move, but in college football right now, it's all about the money. So we will be on the move. And you all voted in the poll I posted yesterday. If you're watching this currently, if you're watching this in the future, backtrack a little bit more. But we are moving to the Big Ten, meaning we will have a rivalry set up here with Ohio State. I might go through and check all of these to make sure the protected rivalries are there for the teams that should have those protected rivalries. But as for now, we are going to move to the Big Ten. More moves will be made, and mostly it's going to be based off of some of these overalls, because you'll see going through these that there's a dramatic difference here. Like Northwestern is a 69 overall. Right now, they're probably not bringing much money to the Big Ten. Big Ten has way too many teams, so they might look to push some of these guys off. Purdue's another team that could potentially be on the door, or be on the way out the door. We've been here for a while. USC, we just beat them in the national championship. I'm sure they would love some revenge. We still have some West Coast teams over here. Might toy around with maybe moving some of these guys. Maryland struggling, but at least above a 70. Minnesota the same way. But a lot of these different conferences, they're going to be shaken up. And it'll all be included at the beginning of our next episode, which again will be on Wednesday. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit the bell icon in the bottom right corner and scroll down and tap that bell icon so you're notified when all of the videos, all the things here on the channel happen, so you can be a part of it. But that will be something I'm going to do behind the scenes, because again, I'm going to do a deep dive here, make sure we got everything sorted out so similar overalls are playing against similar overalls in somewhat of a manner that makes sense geographically. I think some teams need to be added over here to the Big 12, as Big 12 really is struggling in terms of developing, so they might need a boost to their conference prestige, which some bigger schools could add. But if there is any player you guys want to see caps on, dev boost, anything like that, leave it down below. We will check that hopefully before we get on out of here through, I guess, encourage transfer screen. Unfortunately, we could only check our team, so we can't check some of these other teams right now. In fact, I can even check Del Griffin's. You can only check the guys who are not freshmen. So some of the transfers. You guys want to see any of the transfers? I guess not even all of them, because it also doesn't even let me look at Maddox here. No, it does let me look at his player card. So just the true freshman, it's not letting me. We might have Maddox for 2 years. His quickness is capped, but it's plenty good enough. Elusiveness is uncapped. Everything else really high here. Big get with Maddox. Wish he had a couple other of the abilities. Brought in some receivers as well. None are going to be here for the long term, though. I guess Danny Sternberg, no, he's a true freshman. Can't check him. Tam, just a senior. Jew will be a senior. Rasmussen really was not as good as I thought he was going to be. All right, doesn't seem like anyone coming in here for any sort of caps we want to see, so I will include anything big I find in the next episode, but I think that will be it for us here today. If there is a team you want us to play next season, I'm going to talk about potentially Missouri as they took the quarterback we were looking to get in the transfer portal. Let me know in the comments below. I'd also post something quickly after this, after we end the live here, so you guys could leave in the comments of that post as well. But that is where we're going to wrap it up. We were here for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. A little bit longer than I was hoping to get through, but that transfer portal did take some time. Came down to the wire. We landed almost all the players we were looking to get. That'll be it for us here. I appreciate everyone coming in, sticking around, and watching as we build ourselves up for the Big Ten next season. We'll see you guys there again on Wednesday and on Friday this week. We'll move the Masterclass episode to Thursday. And don't miss tomorrow for Coach Barrington's last game with the Giants as we know it.